Hi everyone, and welcome to our session on building and testing new business models in times of uncertainty. I'm Hannah, Head of Programs at Marks, who's an innovation consultancy. To keep the session a bit more interesting, I'm joined by three colleagues. Agata, who's one of the program managers working on our Entrepreneurship program, helping employees turn their ideas into businesses and new ventures. She's going to take us through a methodology to think about in terms of your new business, what to change and what to keep. Sam's also with us, our portfolio manager, who supports our portfolio of startups we've invested in and offers advice to startups on our programs and our alumni. He's going to share real-life examples of startups who've pivoted their business models because of coronavirus and are benefiting from it. And finally, Emma, one of our transformation leads, who spends her days working with startups and corporate partners, supporting them to change through collaboration with one another. She's going to share some key takeaways and learnings from what we know and how you can apply them to your new business model or idea. Working with startups and entrepreneurs every day who are constantly adapting as they go, testing new business models and ways of working, we're going to share some of our learnings as an organisation and hope they can help you while reshaping what you're doing to create or creating a totally new business to help tackle the coronavirus. Everyone's context is a bit different, but today we're all facing similar challenges. No longer able to do business as we've done it before. Most people are working from home, and the economy has taken and will continue to take a major hit. From the startups and scale-ups we've spoken to recently, it's clear that now is the time to change. From bootstrapping and taking cost-cutting measures to totally rethinking what they're doing and how they're doing it, we are all adapting. We know startups who've shifted from delivering events to now providing in-home experiences, chatbot companies who've developed coronavirus Q&A options and can answer any question people may have about ever-changing information, not to mention all the countless delivery companies now delivering your weekly shop rather than just your takeaway pizza, although you can obviously still get the pizza too. And F1 teams using their existing capabilities and the skills of their people to design ventilators rather than gearboxes. I'll now hand over to Agata, who will take you through a methodology for rethinking your business model.
Thank you, Hannah. The methodology that we've chosen to introduce to you today is a 4 dimensions model created by 2 researchers from Copenhagen Business School. The process starts with understanding the 4 main compounds of the business model. First, you need to assess what the crisis means to your customer demands. Is it up or is it down? What are their spending patterns? For example, customers are spending less to go to the restaurants, but more on delivery. There also might be new customer groups to consider, and you need to do your research on who could that be. You also need to think how the crisis affects your value proposition. It could mean that even if your customer needs not have been changed by the coronavirus crisis, the delivery of your proposition needs to be reconsidered. Next, we use value demonstration as a way to describe marketing and sales channels. How do the customers purchase your products or services? Where do you meet them with your marketing strategies? Do you need to find new ways to demonstrate value? Finally, the capabilities dimension checks which resources do we need to run the business. Do we have some that can be transformed? Remember that employees' performance and productivity will be affected by working from home or travel restrictions. Once you've assessed all dimensions of the business model, you can think through how potential changes in one dimension can be aligned with the others. For example, think about how can you align new customer segments to your existing value proposition? Or alternatively, how can you offer new value to your existing customers? In value demonstrations, customers may transition from one channel to another, like from personal to online classes, or from live performances to Instagram live videos. New changes like these will also heavily affect the capabilities that will need to be shifted. One example could be shifting the resources from sales and marketing to value propositions, delivering value to existing customers. To finish off, I would like to say that the crisis not only challenges the existing business models, but also creates new opportunities found through adjusting the 4 dimensions and relating them to one another. Now, Sam, why don't you take us through some real-life examples of the 4 dimensions model?
Great, thank you, Agata. So let's quickly consider a few practical measures taken by startups in the bricks and mortar retail industry, market heavily affected by the pandemic. First off, we have an example of a quick win, whereby startups have managed to provide extended health and safety benefits adapted from existing capabilities. So one illustration of this is with footfall counters, commonly seen within bricks and mortar stores, from which retailers can gather sales and conversion data and point of sale information. From these, retailers can now instead gather real-time store occupancy levels to align with the newly put in place regulations. Other companies have had to go one step further with their offerings. With the shift in commerce sales to e-commerce, one startup has had to focus on converting their offline offering of queue management to accommodate the new online customers, serving the markets from the same position, but from a slightly different value proposition angle. Same customers, different angle. There are plenty of other great examples of shifting business models out there, but in essence, successful teams have evaluated their existing methodologies and altered these slightly to reflect the change in demands. To conclude, I'll pass you over to Emma.
Thanks, Sam. So now that you've heard about some of the challenges and opportunities and how to approach those challenges, we wanted to finish by giving you our top tips. So number one, articulate the problem you're trying to solve. This may sound really obvious, but from experience, we found that sometimes the scope of the problem people are trying to tackle is just too large. So be specific as possible and write it down. Number two, think about your existing internal skill set and resources and start to identify potential opportunities from there. So for example, we've seen distilleries using their equipment for hand sanitizer production and Formula One teams utilising their engineers and supply chain to create ventilators. Thinking about internal capabilities should help identify new opportunities for you to pivot. Number three, again, this is one that might sound really obvious, but who's your customer? And map out what that persona looks like. So this can just be really helpful just to get in your head a clear picture of who your target customer is. So for example, look at what do they typically like, dislike? What are their motivations and values? What priorities and goals do they have? Are they affected by their background or history? The customer should always be the focus of what you're trying to create. Number four, when thinking about creating a new business model, map out your customer journey. So taking into account Agata's methodology, has the customer changed or has the customer journey changed? By mapping out what this looks like and looking at it through a persona lens, you should be able to pinpoint intervention points that may require change. So when you've identified those pinpoints, think about what do you need to make this change happen? Is it additional resource or, for example, the development of new software? Number five, and this is just something that's always at the forefront of whatever you do in business, but think about your competitors out there and what the market size is for in terms of opportunity. Is there an opportunity for your business model to shine? What is your USP, or are there additional benefits your pivot can bring that your competitors can't? Number six, when you have a new idea for a business model, reapply Agata's methodology. So what you should see using a before and after comparison is some shift, whether that's in the customers, the value proposition, the value demonstration, or the capabilities. And finally, always ask yourself, is the solution you have solving the problem you're trying to tackle? It's no point in having a great idea and a great model if you're not actually solving the problem to hand. So hopefully this video has been of some use for you, and best of luck for the weekend, guys.